Hey, happy Aloha Friday. Happy Super Bowl weekend. Very excited about that. And just wanted to share some things that are happening this week in science. We've been talking a lot this week in science about learned helplessness. And part of that is because we've been doing a lot of applied math in science. We've been doing some hard problems, word problems that deal with slope, rate of change, percent of change, as we're looking at climate and different things like that. And what I've noticed is that, students often will give up without ever even trying to solve these multi-step type of problems. And what's important to remember about students when it comes to kind of this sense of learned helplessness. It's not really that they often lack the skill or ability to do the work. They just think they can't do it. And so, and as we know, when we're working with kids, their perception of themselves is their reality. So even though they can do it, if they perceive they can't, that's kind of the game over. That's what we need to address first. And so we've been really working hard with students to kind of see a clear connection between their hard work and effort and getting good results and getting success. And so, there's a lot of things that you can do as parents to kind of help support developing that skill, or that overcoming that sense of learned helplessness. Some things you can do at home are just share stories about people that have overcome challenges. I've shared stories with students about my own challenges in school, and if you can share experiences that you had where you had a really tough task, you worked hard and you overcame it, those types of things are great. Try to attribute success to effort rather than luck or external causes. We talked a lot this week about LeBron James breaking the record and how hard he had to work in order to break that record. It wasn't that he was born with this God given talent. It was that, he really worked hard in order to get that. And then, help learners to seek alternative pathways when they get to failure. I've talked about, failing fast and failing forward in the past. And so we really have kind of double down on that idea of never giving up, just find a different way of solving the problem. Um, we are concentrating on improvement and growth rather than, these giant gains that a lot of times are all we hear about. I talk a lot about it in class as far as just getting 1% better. I'm just going to be a little bit better tomorrow than I am today, and that's all I can expect, is just that little incremental improvements over time. And then help students to see that talent and intelligence are not permanent. Those are things that grow over time and can be improved upon. And that's what we really want to focus on um, whenever possible. A lot of important dates are coming up. So I know February and March are very busy times, and there's just a lot going on. So I put everything into the announcement that I thought was important. The one that I want to really highlight is that early college applications are still open. They're not going to close until February 17th. And so, if that is something that you and your student, are really interested in, that's what you'll want to get that taken care of right now. And I'll put a link here to the application as well as some information on that webpage as far as what early college is all about. I talked about that last week, so I'm not going to talk about it again. I also threw in some stuff in March because March is also a busy time. And as we're ramping up to spring break, I'll wait and highlight those a little later on. As far as what's happening in science, so today we're doing the climate change notebook quiz, and that will be the end of climate change. Next week, we're going to spend some time going over scientific notation, and that will then lead us into DNA structure, and then the biology section will finish out the rest of the year. In biology, we are finishing up genetics and heredity. We'll probably be finishing that up by Wednesday of next week. And I hope to give the test then in Canvas on Thursday of next week. Um, After genetics in biology, we'll then start into evolution and natural selection. And I'm also already starting to look at scheduling the end of course assessment for biology. So that is done by the state. That is a state test that those students will take. Again, I'll have more information on that probably after spring break as far as we're planning that. So, again, thank you so much for everything that you do as parents and caregivers to support the learning that's taking place in my class. As always, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please do not hesitate to reach out to me.